Yeah, Stephen Miller said the quiet part out loud. Trump has plenary authority, and then suddenly went silent. The plan wasn't made to be public. Clearly, someone hit the panic button in his earpiece. Oh, the Stephen Miller sparked suspicion after a glitch on CNN when he mentioned plenary authority. So what was that? What the fuck was that? Because that clip was very weird. He just like glitched. He glitched like a robot. Here's a TikTok explaining it.
Oh,
Stephen?
He knows he knows what he just said.
Hey, Stephen, can you hear me? It seemed, Stephen, I apologize. It seems like we're having a technical issue.
So wait, that wasn't a glitch? I thought he was just trying to say the president has plenty of authority. Like that was actually plenary authority, as in the president has assumed total power over the decision to deploy the National Guard in some states. It is unclear whether Miller paused due to the technical difficulties or stopped himself after realizing the implications of what he's saying. What is plenary authority? The plenary authority, check your ears. Wait, no, he did say plenary authority. They also cut it out of the CNN. Okay. They cut him saying that directly out of the CNN interview. We saw it after the fact. Plenary authority refers to complete, absolute, or unrestricted power over a particular matter, often described as limitless for all practical purposes by the Cornell Legal Information Institute. Anyway, I'm sure the video will explain it.
Plenary authority. Plenary authority. Remember that. That's what he's claiming. At least now we know that his fear response is freeze. And if you're not sure what plenary means, I gotcha. Complete in every respect. Absolute. Unqualified. No, not that type of unqualified. Though in that case, yes. What little SS Miller is claiming here is that Trump has complete unlimited control over the military to do with it what he pleases. No. And by the way, we need to make sure that this ends up in the hands of all the state's attorneys. They need to know for all their legal battles against the White House that someone from the White House and very high up in the administration is arguing plenary authority. And the funny thing is, he immediately realizes he messed up. This whole technical difficulty thing does not make sense. That's not what happened here. Little SS Miller was talking completely uninterrupted, said a word, and then froze. By the way, if you needed any more confirmation about the brain power behind this hate, if the audio had just cut out, he would have had no idea because he was the one talking. If he started getting a different audio issue, maybe like a weird noise or interference, he would have said that, or at least any normal human being would have said, I'm getting a...
Why are people debating over what he said? Trump deployed the National Guard in blue states already, and they disregarded the governor's orders. It's been done in the past, and everyone kept giving up more power to the executive. I don't know where they're fixated on this. It's already fucking happening. Yeah, I do kind of feel like... like they're reading into it a little bit more, a little bit further than is necessary, because like it already is happening. I guess maybe I was more interested in the fact that he just glitched for some reason. Like I don't know why he stopped. I also don't know why CNN didn't show that. You know, on Monday afternoon, Donald Trump aide went on CNN News Central to discuss the president's deployment of national troops to U.S. cities. CNN asked Miller when the Trump administration will abide by a district judge's order blocking the Guard's deployment in Oregon. Well, the administration filed an appeal this morning with the Ninth Circuit, Miller began. I would note the administration won an identical case in the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federalizing of the California National Guard. Then Miller said, under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority, before making an abrupt stop. Miller blinked several times, the anchor Boris Sanchez calling out his name, though he did not respond. Stephen, I apologize. It seems like we're having a technical issue, Sanchez said, before the show cut to a break, and resumed after with Sanchez saying some wires got crossed. The interview with Miller continued, but neither Sanchez nor Miller brought up plenary authority again. A CNN spokesperson confirmed that there was a technical issue during the interview, though they did not specify the details. So I guess like for me, either this is a grand conspiracy where like CNN is actually covering up the footsteps of the administration, actively revealing the ways in which they're going to enact ultimate authority on this subject, especially as it pertains to the National Guard deployments, like the military being deployed. Or there was actually a technical difficulty, and Stephen Miller was going to say that anyway, and the technical difficulty stopped it from... Yeah, here, because we watched the edited video upload and I didn't see it. Yeah, Stephen Miller said the quiet part out loud. Trump has plenary authority, and then suddenly went silent. The plan wasn't made to be public. Clearly, someone hit the panic button in his earpiece. We did watch CNN after, like we did watch the uploaded part because I don't remember
insufficient.
I don't remember the Stephen Miller part being there when he talks about plenary authority. We did, however, watch it after the fact, and this video doesn't have it. Anyway, they reshot that whole segment for the upload. This was it. This was the video we watched.
Illinois and the city of Chicago are filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration.
No, they are.
No, guys, in my video, in my video at 1930, I'm watching him say plenary authority, but that's after the fact. I watched the original YouTube video. I'm trying to figure out if they had it in the original YouTube video. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I worked in TV for 2 decades. If whoever was editing it saw that it was going to be called an error, I'd have cut it out without paying attention. Oh, it's at zero.
My question was whether the administration comment. White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, Stephen Miller. My question was whether the administration still plans to.
So that flash cut that they have in between. The stitching of 2 separate videos at 010 leaves out critical footage regarding plenary authority. Why did you so blatantly remove part of the interview clip at 010 of Stephen Miller saying that the president has plenary authority? Where's the part you cut out, CNN? The part where he says Trump has plenary authority. It seems like I saw this clip in a Hasan reaction channel, the video this morning. Pretty sure you were pissing. No, you did watch the glitch. I know I watched the glitch. I watched the glitch after the fact. I watched the glitch on Twitter. I did not watch the glitch on the OG YouTube video. Okay? I watched the glitch after someone said, hey, did you notice? Did you notice that this happened in the interview? And I looked at it and I was like, did this happen in the interview while I was pissing? What the fuck? It was not in the uploaded CNN video. And it's clear that it's no longer, even if it was in the uploaded CNN video when it was immediately uploaded, it's no longer in the uploaded video. So they edited it after the fact potentially. Because you can see in my look, did you see? I think he might have had a stroke. So here.
Deployment of National Guard in Oregon, legal insurrection. Does the administration still plan to abide by that ruling?
Well,
notice how it was a clip that someone sent. Notice how it was a clip that someone sent and it wasn't actually in the original YouTube video. CNN only showed that plenary part on the live reporting and it was removed for the upload. Nice. Why are you debating chat on this? I don't know. Chat loves to debate. Chat is fond of spirited debate. And this is one of those moments. Why fixate on this? Who cares if you saw it in the original or not? We know CNN edited it out. Yes, I was just trying to see if they kept it in on the YouTube upload as well, but then they deleted it after the fact or not. But it seems like they didn't have it in the OG YouTube re-upload of the stream, and people only got it from clipping it from the live broadcast. So they redacted it from the initial upload.
Weird noise. This was little SS Miller realizing immediately that he really, really stuck his foot in it. He said the quiet part out loud. One commenter even suggested that perhaps he had been rehearsing this argument to roll out at a later date. And I think that that might not be far off. Maybe it wasn't so much rehearsal, but it's clear that this is language that slipped out because that is how he's viewing it and how he's talking about it. They are prepared to claim complete, unlimited authority to do whatever he wants with the military. Wake up. By the way, if you wanted any confirmation of why AI overviews or tech companies are not your friends, when I went to pull up US Code Title 10, which by the way, everyone should download before they try anything sneaky.
I think the irony is that Stephen Miller basically communicates that the administration has plenary authority all the time without using those exact words. That entire interview is him summarizing that position over and over again, but never actually using those words. So I do kind of feel as though maybe CNN is, or not CNN, but like liberals are looking at this and reading too much into it, because that is what they're doing. That is precisely what they're doing. When they like, what do we think they're doing when they say like, oh, I don't give a fuck about the governor, and ultimately the Supreme Court will abide by our wishes as they have done so in the past. I guess the interesting part about this is like whether CNN actually cut it because it was just like dead air and a glitch, and they thought, oh, it's due to our, it's due to our broadcasting issues or whatever, or whether it's because they are like in on it and they are complicit in the administration actively behaving in a fascist way. And I don't think the dude who was like grilling Stephen Miller quite aggressively would be involved in that. I don't think it's like I don't know. I think the liberal argument is that it will be used in states' legal battles against the admin. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
It was clear people had been looking this up because the top suggested search was U.S. Code Title 10 Plenary Authority. I clicked to see what people were being served up. And sure enough, in the AI overview, it says that while the U.S. Code does not explicitly use the term plenary authority, instead it defines the authority of the president to call members and units of the National Guard into federal service to suppress rebellion, repel invasion, or execute federal laws, which is a form of broad or plenary power over military forces. And I think it's important that we understand what's happening here because too many people are relying on these AI overviews and ChatGPT, which, by the way, you should never go to for factual answers.
Lawyer here, like the other chatter said, it could be important for legal cases. Usually executive overreach gets hand-waved because no officials are saying the quiet part out loud and they just blame exigent circumstances or other temporary language. Hard claiming something like plenary authority obviates those excuses. That's interesting. I mean, are they? I feel like this admin, unlike any other, does say the quiet part out loud quite frequently. You're right about exigent circumstances. That's the reason why they have to say immigrants constitute a serious threat, and the previous administration didn't actually prosecute immigrants, and then didn't actually arrest and detain and deport immigrants expeditiously, which is why we have to violate due process. Stuff like that, right? Like they'll try to build a reason for it. Like they'll try to really heighten the tension, right? In this situation, I guess like he's basically saying we have absolute authority over this. We have absolute authority over like sending the National Guard, but even if he uses like plenary authority as a term instead of talking about how like they do have the absolute authority as the Supreme Court has given them this authority before. I don't know. I don't understand like what the distinction is there, you know?
This isn't surprising that this is their goal. No.
They were just cutting dinner. Maybe I can see that. I can see that happening, to be honest. Anyway.